because Native Americans never had corners for houses. We had teepees, we had lodges, roundhouses, but we smudged ourselves when we were afraid or sickly. It was the male, very strong. The female version is the sweetgrass, which is very innocent, very sweet smelling. Cedar is used in offering. You use cedar, you burn cedar when you...
He's going to knock this out.
When you... No.
Remember, only
Look, smoke signals.
You want me to stamp that for you?
Go ahead.
I already stepped on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Put it out.
Thank you. So the cedar was used when it rains and thunders. That's a good time to burn cedar and make an offering to the west. The west is the color black, and that's a sacred color. Thank you.
It's still smoking.
Yeah, we'll just leave it down there for now. And in the east, in the north is where the snow comes. In the north. In the east is where the sun rises, and there's animal nations. In the west it's the thunder beings. In the north it's the buffalo. In the east it's the elk. In the south it's the color yellow, and it's summer wind, storms, etc. And that's Wamakashka Oyate. Wamakashka Oyate means all the animals, the four-legged, the two-legged, the winged, the swimming. This is for fish sign. This is snake. Buffalo, elk, wolves. This is the way they spoke when they didn't know each other's language. They use sign and gesture. Predates ASL. It's much older than American Sign. I would do colleges, and at the end when I close my program like I did, I'd always have an ASL person right next to me, and I'm saying it in English and doing native sign language. She's just doing it in sign language, but she was so curious because she's like signing and watching me at the same time, because people don't see that anymore, or very few. I've had a few people at a college out west, a contingency of people that are deaf, and they enjoyed the program. They wanted to know more, and they were going to a conference. If you look on YouTube, Indian Sign Language, or put in Reuben Fast Horse, you'll come up with some of this that I'm sharing with you. 2 books that are really good. Same author, Jack Weatherford, is a professor at the University of Minnesota, Minneapolis. Jack Weather and Ford, like the car. Indian Gibbers is the title. Native Roots. And those 2 books are really helpful. They're not thick, they're thin, but a wealth of information. The naming of America, the food we eat, our accent, all the stuff that I was sharing with you, I gleaned from that in that way. So it's the learning goes on. We never stop. Any other questions?
I hope this isn't too personal, but the
No.
tattoos and the markings on your chest, do they mean anything?
Oh, this is just a, what do you call it? Heat rash or something. But I do it. But
I thought it was like supposed to
Mean something.
No. But tattooing was significant of that, because they say we believe that when you die, we have no concept of hell. There is no hell in Native America. That's Christian donated, gifted, or whatever. But when we die as Lakota people, we walk the ghost road, the Milky Way. And as we get south, now I don't know how they knew this, but it's called naked eye astronomy. They didn't have telescopes, but just observing nature, and so attuned with nature that they knew it was going to rain, they knew it was going to snow. You look to the south in the sky, of course there's no artificial light like here, and you can see the stars. And they say there's a fork in the road, and an old woman sits there at the crux, and she will check your head or your hand for a tattoo. I'm not sure what. And she'll ask you, Reuben, did you lead a good life? Did you have a good life? Did you try hard? And if I lie, she'll know. And she'll say, go to your left, and I'll go to my right, and I'd go down the Milky Way, and then I'd fall off, come back to Earth, reincarnated. you got another chance to make it right. If I say don't lie and say yes, I did my best, I tried really hard, and she'll say go to your left, and I would go to my left, and that's where, who knows, the beyond, nirvana, heaven, happy hunting ground, whatever it may be, or we deem worthy in that sense. So a lot of symbols, a lot of symbology through our works, and you look at the Navajo rugs, you look at the Indian drawing, cave drawings and stuff like that. We're not the only ones. We're not the only tribe. We were all tribal at one time, more or less, in that sense. So it's our choice at what we choose to do. Any other question?
Did you happen to know Two Clouds?
Two Clouds. The poem?
No, Two Clouds was a Native American who lived, like maybe he was a Munsee. I don't know what he was.
Oh. Hard
Lenape?
to, yeah,
he
maybe
was
the
from
Lenape.
around
No,
here.
I never heard of
Okay.
it. I'm still learning too. You know, the
Okay.
Lenape. Like
That's all right.
Warwick, where we live, was a Lenape village, and it was called Chuckahawse. Chuckahawse was the name. So all these names have meaning and power. We look into them, and they're very simple. But sign and gesture is always pretty cool for me. I like doing that.
It was very nice with the signing, and then signing and speaking it again at the end. That was very
More of
very
an
nice.
impact.
Yes, very impactful.
If you go to, I just want to add this. Like I said, I'm the bad cop. If you go to out west, the burial site at Wounded Knee, where that massacre occurred, is on a hill, and I went up there on the hill alone one day, and it was a windy day, and I heard crying. And until then, I was always skeptical of things like that. I didn't believe in any of that. But after that experience, I was just, it changed me forever.
Wow.
Because I could hear
Yeah.
crying.
People don't know, like the massacres.
It's mostly women and children.
Mostly women and children, and Black Kettle, who camped outside of Denver, Cheyenne, was in the peace treaty, but Paddington, WP Paddington in general, some other tribe had raided and killed 12 women, white women, or a family, so to speak, whatever. And so they got riled up, and they went out and took on the first Indians, who were peaceful. They would hang an American flag, of all things. And Black Kettle was old, and he was standing with the white flag, and they killed many. They killed them all. Same thing with Wounded Knee. It was the last, they called it a battle, but it was never a
It
battle.
wasn't a battle.
The last remnants of a part of the regiment, 7th Cavalry, who died at Wounded Knee, at the Greasy Grass, Little Bighorn, where we killed them, Lakotas, came back and rounded up. They killed Sitting Bull on the Standing Rock, and it scared everybody, and they weren't supposed to leave the reservation. Thus that term when you hear in the FBI, he's off the reservation. They were talking about Indians that would leave the reservation to hunt or make their way. And they left at night and walked 200 miles in the dead of winter in January. This is 1810. Sitting Bull was killed. And they caught him outside the Pine Ridge Agency, Southern Sioux Reservation. And those remnants of Custer's regiment used Gatling guns and wiped out 300 women and men and children. Then they left them there to freeze, and so they're frozen, and they just dug a mass grave and threw those bodies in there. It's still there today.
They're still finding bodies.
They're still finding
as they
bodies
they
because they
develop
shot
them.
them down, but then they just let them be there, and then they went back into the earth. So that's the real history. I'm not trying to make you feel somber or sad, but just to create an awareness of what we all contribute. Not just Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, even our species. You know, that's why I said, well, in the South, the four-legged, the winged, they're all related to us. And so we have I'll teach you a prayer here. 2 words. We use it in the ceremony going in and coming out. Mitakuye Oyasi. Mitakuye Oyasi. Mitakuye Oyasi means we are all related. Species, nations, different nations, animals, swimming, crawling, flying. We're all related because we share the same earth, the planted nation as well. So Mitakuye Oyasi, we're all related. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll
Thank
see
you.
what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Both
much.
of you, thank
Enjoy.
you.
Yeah. Susie, Reuben.